Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to do a Valentine's Day special of how to manifest a specific person. After a year's worth of talking to hundreds and hundreds of people, going through my personal experiences with manifesting specific people, seeing trial and error, basically taking all of that and compiling it into this systematic methodology of manifesting in a simple, pure way a specific person for Valentine's Day, you could say. So let's just jump right into it. A little bit of preface with this is that if you've been following me from the beginning, or maybe you have not, one of the very first videos I did, it was quite successful. It was called How to Manifest a Specific Person, the Neville Goddard Way. Now, the reason I made that video is because I believed that it was perfect for the time. There was, in my mind, no more accurate way to create a video rather than to do it in the context of Neville Goddard's teachings himself, right? So for me, throughout the years, I have manifested specific things and not manifested specific things. There's been periods of time when I have used Neville Goddard's teachings, and then way before that when I haven't. And in fact, there's been more time passed without me doing it than with using his techniques. And the reason I choose his techniques is because in the end, when everything came full circle, right, I started manifesting just strictly through the Bible. I knew nothing about law of attraction or any of that stuff. But through my personal experiences with the dire need to change my life and manifesting specific people, failing manifesting specific people, I think what I found is that the most success has brought me, and not only me, but other individuals, is manifesting a specific person using Neville Goddard's techniques is the only way, right? And that's all that I talk about, generally speaking, is his techniques and my experiences personally. So manifesting a specific person is essentially saying that you want a person to be yours, and so you are going to go into eternity and set up that match. You are going to create and activate that dimension so that you can experience it in time space. Now, manifestation works by using the imagination. The bridge between man and God is the imagination. You can prove that by comparing your experiences to what the Bible explains as God. So going through that process, you can find that whatever it is that you fix in your imagination, you can bring forth into time space. So there's a verse in scripture that says, when you pray, believe you have already received it and you shall, which means imagine the end in first person point of view. So imagine the end in first person point of view. That means if you have already received your end, how would you be experiencing life at that moment? Or another way to phrase it would be, if there was a pivotal moment or an experience which would define or condense or symbolize you having received your end, and in this case, it's a specific person, what would that be like? And so one of the examples that I usually give is to wear a wedding ring, right? And I don't mean in physical reality, because again, it's not physical reality that creates, it's your imagination. So doing that, even if you wore a wedding ring but didn't actually deliberately imagine that you were married, then it would be completely worthless. So symbolizing and finding a symbolic representation of the end. It can be a wedding ring, it can be celebrating an anniversary, it can be having a conversation with a friend about how you're having an anniversary. These are the basic fundamentals of manifesting, right? So these are the top priority. If you want to manifest your specific person and you want to do it in the fastest, best way possible, the most accurate, effective, powerful tool in doing this is visualization and constructing that scene itself. So once you do that though, right, once you've created your scene and you're now going to imagine it, what you've got to do at this point is get into it. Now remember, we're talking about best case scenario here, and we're talking about cutting out all the nonsense and going straight to the silver bullet of manifestation. So once you have that, you want to get into the state akin to sleep. Now that's a phrase coined by Neville Goddard. However, it's more of just a general phrase which describes this window right before sleep. So it's not talking about being tired and imagining. It's talking about an actual state which borders upon sleep. It's when you are almost asleep and you have, I'm thinking about the best way to describe this. For me, it's essentially I'm asleep, but my mind, I have control over my mind and only my mind. Now, my body and my mind want me to still fall asleep, but I'm holding my mind awake so that I can visualize, let this reality fade away, and only have pure control over my imagination. So if you practice consistently, right, this is not something that comes easy and effortless. This is something that takes deliberate practice. Now, that's not to say you can't get it in one day, but if you just give up and fall asleep, then I can't help you, right? It takes discipline, and it takes that you want it. And in fact, you can even facilitate yourself getting into the state akin to sleep by perhaps writing down a statement which states how good you get into the state akin to sleep, or how well you get into the state akin to sleep, and how easy and effortless, right? That's it's kind of like a sub manifestation or a meta manifestation to help you manifest. I've used these time and time again, writing down statements in the present I am tense, like I'm the master of manifesting, I'm the master at getting into the state akin to sleep, all of which have helped me. All of those together, accumulated, have helped me. And it's one of the reasons I think why I'm so skilled or so accurate in manifestation. Now, once you can get into this state, right? So which takes, generally, you don't just want to close your eyes and you expect that you're going to fall into that immediately. It takes discipline to close your eyes, relax, let your body relax, perhaps tighten and let go of each muscle individually in your entire body. That's one way of becoming fully present. Now, I keep saying this word fully present. What I mean by that is, or the reason I'm saying that is because a state akin to sleep is very difficult to get into, and the same as imagining in general, if your mind is still wandering around. So this is, again, why I'm saying all of these things specifically as it relates to manifesting a specific person is because these specifically I have found are, after all the things that I've taught, all the things that I've read from everyone else, this is the single most accurate strategy here, but I'm going to go into more strategies after this one right now. So anyway, getting present, another way to do that, as I say in video, is counting backwards. Right after you perhaps flex and unflex each muscle, you have your eyes closed, maybe you're breathing, right? Breathe through your diaphragm. This is one thing that increases oxygen intake. I think the studies say 20%, which means that you relax 20% faster. For me, when I breathe through my stomach, my visualizations become more vivid and strong and powerful and controllable. My thoughts become less erratic and they become more focused. So that's kind of another trick to this. So once you do that, you just bring that scene, whatever you described before, that short, condensed, imaginal act into your mind's eye, and you visualize and visualize and visualize until you can get that short, condensed scene to play out naturally. Now, what do I mean by naturally? So if now I was experiencing myself married to the woman of my dreams, right? We're going to talk about Jane again, right? Someone who doesn't exist, but Jane, if I want to be married to Jane, and say right now, this is my imagination, right? So say right now I'm on a couch somewhere with my eyes closed and I'm visualizing, and this is the outcome of my visualization. This is the activity of my mind somewhere on a couch. So some of the things that I wouldn't be doing is saying, this is real, this is real, this is real. I would never say that. Just like in reality, I would never say, this is really happening. I believe this is happening. No, I would just be experiencing it, right? What I would be experiencing perhaps is Jane next to me, perhaps with wedding rings, or perhaps right now we would be sitting at a restaurant together and we would be discussing our gratitude for being married, right? So the point here is to create a short, condensed scene and visualize it with reality, with naturalness, right? Naturalness, not saying this is natural, not saying I believe this is happening. That doesn't make sense. It's just happening, right? Once we can do this and get it to play, our mind may wander around. But once we can get it accurately to hold that scene in our mind before falling away, and we can get that to play out fully, that's what we need to do. And we can do that. That's called allowing it to be natural. And from that point forward, if you can fall asleep while repeating that scene in a natural state, then it's done. There's nothing that can get in the way. You've fully impressed it in the subconscious mind. There's another verse in scripture in Song of Solomon, which I personally have experienced, is when you, I'm not going to try to paraphrase it, but essentially what it means is when you fall asleep, when you fall asleep while imagining, you're taking your desire into the womb of creation, which is God. And in doing so, it must come to pass in its own appointed hour. So what happens after you imagine? Say you fall asleep, right? Done. It's just going to take a matter of time before it comes to pass. What if you can't fall asleep? Well, if you have imagined it to the point where it's natural, then that will have a very profound, great effect as well. And in fact, I'm going to go out and say 99% of my manifestations are done not in the state akin to sleep. Now, the silver bullet is the state akin to sleep and falling asleep while doing it. If you cannot achieve that, you can still get your desire. So do not give up. Make sure if you're having an incredibly hard time falling into the state akin to sleep, you keep trying. But in the interim, just imagine while you're tired, so this can seep into the subconscious mind. Now, here's the thing about dimensionality and the way that this world works, right? So in this universe, or in awareness itself, which is where all things exist, meaning it is complete, it is finished, there's nothing that we can experience that doesn't already exist. So the premise is when we go and we imagine and we select something accurately, we are selecting that dimension in a library of infinite possibilities. So that's just a way to visualize it, but it's very, very accurate. So say for instance, now we have visualized this end result. We have visualized ourselves married. We visualized ourselves having our anniversary already, right? We've taken a short condensed scene, like 3 to 5 seconds long, and we have successfully visualized it. So we've gone into the library of eternity. We've selected by the cover of the book, which is the marriage, right? Say the cover of the book is the marriage of me and Jane, or the anniversary, right? Which is the same as saying the end result. We take that and now we bring it back into reality. Now here's the thing, here's the problem, is that there's a book that we've taken from eternity and we're trying to just experience the entire thing right now in time space. Just the same as you must read every page of the book in order to get to the end, that is the exact way that a story must unfold in order to reach the end. So in the way of manifestation, that's called the bridge of incidents. Each page has a series of stories, right? The book is a series of stories, and page by page, day by day, minute by minute, action by action, the plot unfolds. But we've already seen the end, so we need not be concerned that it's going to happen, right? If we've gone in and dimensionally selected this play, it must now unfold in time space, right? If we were experiencing it in eternity, there would need to be no unfolding. We would experience it all at once. But the mind and the body existing in time and space must experience things in time and space. And so the bridge of incidents is going to be consistent of any and all events which must unfold in order for you and your specific person to meet and be together, or to be married, or to celebrate Valentine's Day together. Now, you don't want to select a scene before the end, because then the book unfolds, but the ending is something before the end. It will not go further than the book that you've selected. So if you're imagining while you're saying I do, that's not really even after the marriage has unfolded, right? So say it's the engagement, that's too early. Say it's right before you're getting married, that's too early. You want to go after the end result so that the story unfolds to its fulfilled desire. Now, while we're waiting for the story to unfold, it may take turns, and that middle is essentially created by our beliefs. So the pages which exist for between the beginning and the end, those little subset stories, are also manifestations of our beliefs, ideas, insecurities, fears, confidence, everything that we are consistent of, our awareness, our belief systems, all that stuff will actually play out as the little stories in the middle as well. So working on your beliefs, assumptions, and ideas by creating different imaginal acts, which would prove that you already are the person with the beliefs that you would want. Now I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to say that again. Working on your assumptions, meaning your beliefs, ideas, attitudes, thought process, insecurities, is something that can be done by imagining that you are already that secure person. You are already that person who does not react, right? Because each time we react to a negative event that happens, we plant a seed back into our subconscious, right? So reacting is something that takes a snapshot of current reality, and it will re-put it into our subconscious mind and manifest it outward again. And so the best, fastest, quickest way to get to our end is to not react and to stay focused only on what we want, not what we don't want. We must remember we've selected that play in eternity. No matter what's happening now, this is only what must unfold naturally in order for us to receive our manifestation. And that is exactly how manifesting works. So by choosing a scene, imagining it deliberately, and then working on our beliefs, these are essentially the key factors that I have seen work. And the final one is letting it go. This is one that I have seen people suffer the most from. A lot of it comes from, though, this is the secret. A lot of the inability to let go comes from not believing that your manifestation is going to come to pass. So something I would focus on as day in and day out is testing manifestation to the best of your ability. Now, if you're new to manifestation, or if you are having issues letting go of your imaginal act after you've imagined it, if you're afraid it's not going to happen, if you feel yourself being preoccupied and pushed towards consistently and obsessively thinking about your partner or your ex or whatever the case is, then I would highly recommend digging through my videos on the Lost Art of Assumption. That's one of the keywords. Changing beliefs, the bridge of incident, and you'll be able to then go in and also testing it, right? I have whole videos dedicated to testing it. And you'll be able to find how to prove to yourself beyond the shadow of a doubt that your imagination creates reality. And once you get to that point, you will not doubt that your imaginal act is going to reach fruition, which means you won't have to fear and you can relax knowing that it's happening. I have seen people have these obsessive desires to not let go of their imaginal act, but then the instant they do, finally, I have testimonials like this, that instant is when they get that message from their specific person, pushing them, getting them together, putting them back together. And so there's many, and dropping it is one of the very keys. I would say it's about half of it when it comes only to a specific person because of the nature of being attached and not being able to let go. So listen, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was a good summary from all the thousands of stories and problems and errors and successes that I've seen, and even in my own life manifesting a specific person. This is the culmination of all of those in the Neville Goddard way. So listen, if you like this, if you want more of this, if you want breakdowns of systematic manifesting in a way that you can test, that's predictable, that you can know it's going to happen, hit the subscribe button now, hit the bell icon now, hit the like button now, and stay tuned for more. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.